Requirements to run Helldivers 2 on the computer. Hello my dear friends, how are you? I hope you are well, in good health, and in the happiest of days. Today I have a new video with you, which is the requirements for running the game Helldivers 2 on the computer. I hope you like it, but before watching the video, subscribe to the channel to receive everything new. Now let us follow the explanation. Full requirements for Helldivers 2 for PC. With recommended and minimum specs you need to get the game up and running. Helldivers 2 minimum requirements: memory, 8GB graphics card, AMD Radeon RX 470 or GeForce GTX 1050Ti CPU, Intel Core i7-4790K or Ryzen 5 1500X. File size, 100GB. Operating system, Windows 10. Helldivers 2 recommended specifications: memory, 16GB graphics card, AMD Radeon RX 6600 XT or GeForce RTX 2060 CPU, Intel Core i7-9700K or Ryzen 7 3700X. File size, 100GB. Operating system, Windows 10. Can you turn it on? Test your computer against Helldivers 2 system requirements. Can I play Helldivers 2? To run Helldivers 2 PC requirements, you'll need at least an AMD Radeon RX 470 GPU, Intel Core i7-4790K CPU, 8GB of RAM, and 100GB of HD space. Bring democracy to the ultimate robotic threat in this newly revamped series, brought to you by Arrowhead Game Studios. The original game was a twin-stick shooter, but Helldivers 2 takes the third-person shooter approach, and brings with it a slew of graphical improvements. As a result, Helldivers 2 demands a lot of effort from your computer, so you'll need a good PC to run the game. You can meet the minimum requirements for Helldivers 2 on a PC running Windows 10 or later if you have an NVIDIA GeForce GTX 1050Ti graphics card, an AMD Ryzen 5 1500X processor, and 8GB of RAM. This will get you around 30 FPS on a 1080p monitor if you're playing on the lowest graphical settings, so you may want to use better hardware and aim for higher specs in Helldivers 2. You can achieve great performance at higher graphics settings if you meet the recommended specifications for Helldivers 2, which requires 16GB of RAM, an Intel Core i7-9700K CPU, and an AMD Radeon RX 6600 XT GPU. Even if you don't quite meet the recommended developer requirements for Helldivers 2, we've found through substantial testing that you can play the game at 60 FPS on the high graphics preset with an Intel Core i7-3960X CPU and NVIDIA GeForce GTX 1660 Super graphics card, 16GB of RAM. So, you don't need to target the latest hardware to get good performance from Helldivers 2. However, if you want to maximize all of Helldivers 2's graphical presets and still get good performance out of the game, you'll need some really good hardware to meet the demands of Helldivers 2's ultra-demanding settings and ultra-sampling presets. Through extensive testing across a range of powerful gaming platforms, we found that you can play the game at maximum settings with an NVIDIA GeForce RTX 2070 Super GPU, Intel Core i7-10700KF CPU, and 32GB of RAM. This is, of course, a huge mountain on a massive scale and an extremely difficult requirement to meet. However, the game looks exceptional at this level, and is definitely worth a try. A good internet connection is essential if you want to meet Helldivers 2 system requirements due to the game's live service status. You can play the game in single player mode, but only if you set your lobby settings to private. Unfortunately, despite the player being able to play solo, the game lacks an offline mode, and no plans to offer such a mode have been mentioned in the future. As a result, you will still need a stable internet connection to be able to play the game. Still not sure if your setup can handle the demands of Helldivers 2? Take our performance test now to see if your PC can run Helldivers 2 using our automatic checker or by manually entering your system details. Helldivers 2 size. The download size of Helldivers 2 on PC is 100GB of available space on your hard disk drive, HDD, or SSD. Does Helldivers 2 need an SSD? Although SSD is not mentioned as a requirement to play the game, we recommend installing the game on an SSD to ensure the best gaming performance. So, if you need more space or want to make an upgrade, check out the Amazon Buyer's Guide for the best SSD for gaming, or check out the latest SSD deals on Amazon. Helldivers 2 Steam Deck. Helldivers 2 received a playable rating for the Steam Deck instead of the coveted verified rating. The Helldivers 2 Steam Deck performs well, but some of the UI can be difficult to read given the overall display size of the Steam Deck. You'll also need to adjust some graphical presets to run the game well on Steam Deck. Set the vegetation and debris density setting to the lowest level to improve your FPS. But be prepared for a fair amount of pop-ups with grass and rocks. Turn off ambient occlusion, depth of field, and anti-aliasing. Set motion blur to 0. Set everything else to the low setting. If you follow the recommended Helldivers 2 settings, you should achieve fairly stable 30 FPS performance on the Steam Deck. Just keep in mind that especially large swarms can still be quite a challenge for the Steam console, so you may need to eliminate bugs and bots as quickly as possible in order to get the game up and running. Helldivers 2 Crossplay. Helldivers 2 implements several multiplayer features that enable PC and PS5 players to join the same play sessions through matchmaking. If you're a PC gamer, you'll need a PlayStation account, which is free to set up, to be able to play the game. Once in the game, PC and PS5 players will be able to send friend requests to each other, and invite friends to open or private lobbies. Unfortunately, many players have reported issues when trying to add friends playing on opposing platforms. Specifically, PS5 players have difficulty adding PC players as friends, and vice versa. The developer has acknowledged this issue and is working on a fix. In the meantime, the best way to add your friends in Helldivers 2 for crossplay is to set your lobby settings to open, head to a more remote planet, set the mission difficulty to trivial, and open a mission. You'll hear the Helldivers to Hellpots message when you do this. Tell your friends your location. We recommend sending a photo of your location, and you'll be able to join each other. Just keep in mind that this sometimes requires a little patience, as there may be other Helldivers trying to join you. You can also try to solve various network problems using a VPN. Get ExpressVPN at a discount and use the service recommended as the best VPN for gaming of 2024. Helldivers 2 Game Update. On April 16, 2024, Arrowhead Game Studios released Helldivers 2 Update 1000.203, which addressed a number of passive ability issues found in the CE27 Groundbreaker armor from the latest version of Warband. Several crash fixes have also been introduced with this update, along with removing erroneous red squares that appeared during defensive missions, and resolving the damage disparity between PC and console players. Unfortunately, the latest hotfix for Helldivers 2 also saw an expansion of the known issues section. Friend requests between PlayStation and PC players remain an ongoing issue, though some players are finding success adding their friends across platforms. The developer also took note of the spear's stabilization time and accuracy, which often fails even when you have a single large enemy directly in your sights. It is uncertain when these known issues will be fixed, but the developer is constantly rolling out fixes and improvements. Hopefully, this will all be resolved in just a week or two. Aside from the updates, Helldivers 2 Detonation released Helldivers 2 Warband on Thursday, April 11, 2024. This premium warband brought several explosive firearms, and even an explosive crossbow to the Helldivers arsenal. A warband costs 1,000 super credits, depending on the cost of other premium warbands. Can Helldivers 2 be played without the internet? You must have an internet connection to play Helldivers 2, regardless of whether you are playing alone or not. Although you can play the game in online mode and fight Terminid and automaton threats alone, you cannot do so when disconnected from the internet. If you try to play the game when your internet connection is offline, you will encounter the error unable to establish connection. Unfortunately, Helldivers 2 does not have an offline mode. It is possible that an offline mode will be introduced in the future, but the presence of anti-cheat software in Protect GameGuard suggests that an internet connection will be needed going forward to ensure that players, even offline players, cannot cheat. Helldivers Guides 2. Do you need some additional strategies and support? Gamezn has everything you could need to be the best super soldier in Super Earth. For a list of the best Helldivers 2 weapons, check out the guide on Gamezn. Here's everything that's included in the latest version of Helldivers 2 Warbond. What is the best way to kill the Helldivers 2 Biobomber? Don't aim for the head. To complete your Helldivers 2 setup, check out the best gaming desks available, whether large, small, sit-stand desks. Helldivers 2 will run on PC system running Windows 10 and later. Are you looking for an upgrade? Try our easy-to-use Helldivers 2 setup guides to find the best cards. Filter for Helldivers 2 graphics card comparison and CPU comparison. Will help you find the best deal on the right equipment to run the game. Helldivers 2 FPS. What frame rate can you expect? How many frames per second will I get in Helldivers 2? We reference thousands of reports from PC Game Benchmark users running our FPS tracking app to tell you exactly how Helldivers 2 performs across a range of different settings and resolutions at the most popular PC gaming settings. What frame rate does Helldivers 2 run at? Do you suffer from falls and stutters in Helldivers 2 FPS? Want to know exactly how the game performs on your system? An FPS monitor is the first step in understanding how the parts in your gaming PC will perform in real-world conditions. Download our free FPS monitor via Overwolf to calculate frame rates during gameplay, and experience how tweaking your settings can boost FPS and increase Helldivers 2 performance. Our app is compatible with hundreds of top PC games and available now. At the end of the video, I thank you for watching and I hope you liked it, and see you in a good video.